welcome back again to Tasty Tuesday in my kitchen. Thanks for joining me. And I wanted to tell you, we're actually going to travel in June internationally, which is very exciting since we have not left the United States in more than a year. We're going to Iceland. And just gonna stick our tip of our toes into a little international travel and see how that feels. Perhaps we'll be able to restart the grand adventure. And so I hope to continue to do Tasty Tuesday. And I have several Tasty Tuesdays already in the hopper. But when we started Tasty Tuesday, it was because we weren't traveling internationally, and it was a way to bring international travel into our kitchens and into your homes, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And so we're going to continue at least until we begin extensive full-time travel again. But summer is here, even though it's not super warm here in Washington State where I am. Summer is arriving. And one of the things we eat a lot in the summertime is sandwiches. We take sandwiches hiking, we take sandwiches cycling, we even take sandwiches often with us when we golf. So summertime's a big sandwich eating time for us. I've already shared with you in the past a couple of my favorite sandwiches. We did the Scandinavian chicken salad sandwich, and you can go back and find that on our YouTube channel on August 18th of last year. And in fact, it's funny, that YouTube video is probably my most watched Tasty Tuesday. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. And also another favorite sandwich is muffaletta. And I showed you how to make a muffaletta sandwich on, let's see, that was on September 29th of last year. Today, I'm going to share with you Bahn Mi, Vietnamese sandwich that we ate almost every single day when we were in Vietnam, particularly in the town of Hoi An, which was my favorite place in all of Vietnam. The Bahn Mi sandwich is one of those foods that has taken the local culture and the colonial influence, and in Vietnam's case, that was France, and created something that now is very uniquely Vietnamese. The French, actually, it was a terrible time for the Vietnamese people when the French were there. And the French didn't allow the Vietnamese people to eat traditional French foods. They didn't think the Vietnamese people were worthy of their cuisine. Terrible racism. And however, the baguette became part of the Vietnamese cuisine, and but they called it Bahn, B-A-H-N. When the French left, so the baguette at that time, they were filling it with things like cheese and cold cuts, sliced meats that the French love. And when the French left in the 50s, in southern Vietnam was when the Bahn Mi was created. This was before styrofoam or other packaging. And so the baguette became the vehicle to fill with yummy things, and the Vietnamese in particular love veg. And so this sandwich became a very popular takeaway food during that period. But it also still carried with it several of the things that were introduced to Vietnam from the French, including the baguette and including beautiful pate. So let me tell you how to make a Bahn Mi sandwich. You don't have to have all these ingredients. And in fact, if you go to one of the little aluminum carts all over the place in Vietnam selling Bahn Mi, you have some choices of your ingredients. or what you want on your banh mi sandwich. But I'm showing you today what we ate and what seemed to be the most traditional ingredients when we were in Vietnam. So yesterday I made this pickled vegetable concoction. It is 2 carrots, half of a daikon radish, which is a big white Asian radish if you've never seen it. In my opinion, it's a little milder than the small red radishes most Americans are used to. I encourage you to try it if you haven't tried a daikon radish. You can find it almost always in a regular supermarket anymore. And also I used half of a cucumber. Many times the banh mi will have a fresh sliced cucumber on it, but I've decided to put it into my marinade. I marinated this. I made it yesterday. It's been in the fridge overnight. You want to at least marinate it several hours. So that's going to go on our sandwich. I also prepared pate. You can certainly buy store-bought pate. And I know a lot of people don't like pate or liver. I love it. So it's really pretty traditional to have this on your banh mi sandwich. But if you really hate it, go ahead and leave it off. I make pate that is very, very smooth. It spreads like butter. It also has a lot of butter in it. I used about 4 ounces of chicken livers, which is my favorite way to make pate, which I did in a skillet with shallot, garlic, and a bay leaf. I added a little bit of water and let it cook for about 5 or 6 minutes until the livers were no longer pink. I put that into my food processor with 4 ounces of butter, whirred that around until it was super creamy and smooth. Look at, oh, so yummy looking. And I put it in the fridge overnight to firm up a little bit. This is way more than I'm gonna need for today's banh mi's, but don't worry, I'll find something to do with this. So, those are some of our ingredients. We also have pork tenderloin, which I cooked yesterday and sliced up thin. We have some fresh ingredients. I have cilantro and basil. You could also use parsley, or like I said earlier, fresh cucumber, and sometimes you would see spinach, fresh spinach. So let's get started. The banh mi sandwich is often served as a breakfast food. But you can also find it throughout the day. We are starting on one side of our baguette with a little bit of mayonnaise. Next, on the other side of our bread, we are going to use our amazing chicken liver pate filled with butter. I love that flavor. I know everybody doesn't, but oh my gosh, to me it's such a special treat. Okay, now on top of the pate, we are going to put our pickled veg, carrots, daikon radish, and cucumber. Oh, by the way, so the marinade, I didn't tell you, there's a little bit of lemongrass in here. You don't have to use lemongrass. And I've marinated this in rice wine vinegar, maybe a half a cup, quarter a cup. You can eyeball it, and a little bit of sugar. That's all it is. And we put that in the fridge overnight. All right, on top of our pickled veg, we are putting our sliced pork tenderloin, which I actually marinated in a little bit of soy sauce and brown sugar. And then I just baked it in the oven, and I have a lot of this left over, and I'm going to use it for next week's sandwich, because we are going to do a series of sandwiches for you over the next few weeks. Okay, now on top of our pork tenderloin, I have a little bit of fresh cilantro and a little bit of fresh basil from my herb garden outside. It's my first time using my basil. And we're just going to put that all on there. Ooh, smelling good. Wow, this is a big one. All right, now let's see if I can cut through this without it falling apart. So we're not cooking this. This is a cold sandwich, a to-go sandwich in Vietnam. Ooh, look at how pretty that is. One of our favorite Vietnamese foods. In Hoi An is where I took one of my all-time favorite cooking classes. We actually didn't make banh mi, but Vietnam has an incredible cuisine. From very simple cold sandwiches to fantastic stews and seafood and noodles. Oh my gosh, if you haven't been to Vietnam, I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite countries in the entire world, and the Bahn Mi Sandwich is one of my favorite sandwiches. So come back next week. We're going to do a Cuban sandwich, and the week after that, we're going to have another surprise sandwich for you. So thanks for joining me for Tasty Tuesday for Bahn Mi from Vietnam, and we'll see you next Tuesday.